Welcome back to SourceFedNERD. I'm Sam Basher. This year marks the 17th anniversary of The Matrix, a movie that brought to the mainstream the idea that our universe could actually be taking place within the brain of a supercomputer. It's a fascinating theory, one that has intrigued not only the filmmakers behind the project, but scientists and philosophers since the dawn of the digital age. But what if I told you that it's not as entirely far-fetched as it may sound, as scientists now more than ever have proof we may actually be living inside of a computer simulation? During a recent interview, Elon Musk himself was quoted saying, "There's 1 in billions chance that we're not living in a simulation." The idea that reality is not as it seems can actually be traced throughout the entire history of man, even as far back as the musings of Plato and Aristotle. And though a fairly easy thing to postulate, it becomes a nearly impossible hypothesis to prove, because how can we prove something that breaks the confines of the very reality that creates the rules of the universe in which we reside? Scientists have been asking this very question for years and have found some fascinating evidence that says it's possible that we could in fact be living in our own form of the Matrix. Now, Simpleton's gonna take a swing at explaining all that for you. Perhaps the strongest evidence comes in the form of what's called the Greisen-Zapspin-Kuzmin cutoff. We're gonna go ahead and call that GZK for short. Essentially, this is talking about the way that energy works in the universe. In theoretical physics, things can be pretty much limitless, but in a computer, they can't. They have limits imposed by the very nature of the simulation. For example, a computer sim is made up of a 3D lattice, kind of like if you were inside a 3-dimensional piece of graph paper. Just like in theoretical physics, in a simulation, when working with high energy processes, the more energy they gain, the more they shrink in size. Keep that in mind. Now, theoretically, according to the laws of physics, these processes should be able to continue to gain more energy and get smaller and smaller infinitely. But in a simulation, there is a point where they reach the smallest size possible due to the resolution of the 3D lattice. This is a hard concept to grasp a little bit, but think of it as an image made up of pixels. As you zoom further and further in, the color variation gets less and less until you reach a single pixel made up of a single color. That's kind of what's happening with these high energy processes. As they get smaller, they have less resolution to work with until at some point they have to remain the same energy level. There is a cutoff of energy. Remember that fancy GZK cutoff we talked about earlier that describes the way energy works in our universe? Well, that wasn't based on a computer simulation. That was based off of what scientists observed in our world. And yes, that means what you think it means. Despite the laws of physics saying that this cutoff shouldn't happen, it does. There seems to be a fundamental limit to high energy particles like cosmic rays, and the only other place we've seen this cutoff occur is within our own computer simulations. So how could a simulation of this magnitude and complexity even be made? Well, scientists studying this hypothesis are using supercomputers to simulate something intimidatingly called quantum chromodynamics, basically describing the force that binds together quarks and gluons, which are the things that make up protons and neutrons, which are the things that make up atoms, which are the things that make up things, everything else in our universe. By creating a simulated version of this phenomena, they're able to accurately recreate the universe down to a subatomic level. Now, currently these tests are incredibly small, something like a couple million nanometers across. Can we get a quick zoom in of what that looks like right here? Yeah, a little closer, a little closer. That's about right. So they aren't simulating anything of much significance on the macro level, but as computers continue to improve, and with the recent breakthroughs with quantum computing, it's almost inevitable that we will reach the point where we have enough power to be able to accurately simulate a city, a country, or even an entire universe. So let's go out on a limb and entertain the idea that we are just a series of complex code executing a massive replication of a universe within the confines of a supercomputer. Does that mean that somebody coded us to exist? It's possible. Or this code might be what the universe has always been, and as Professor Huffman, a scholar of cognitive sciences at UC Irvine, proposes, we might have just evolved to view this the way we do. What does that mean? Well, he argues that evolution doesn't favor truth, it favors efficiency. It favors the fastest method of understanding and processing information because those individuals are able to react to their surroundings the fastest. So imagine that our brains are like the operating system of a computer. Instead of having to type and read lines of code to execute and understand what is happening within the computer, the operating system transforms all of that into your desktop. If you want to go on the internet, who's going to be more efficient? The person who has to type and sift through lines of code to use the program, or the person who can click on the icon and read what's on the screen visually? I know Kung Fu. Huffman thinks our brains might work in a similar way with this universal code. Those who process their surroundings the most efficiently and not necessarily the most truthfully survive the best. Think of it in terms of evolution. The organisms that were able to develop senses faster than the rest were the ones who were able to evolve and become more complex beings. So, with the disparity between the way physics should work and the way it actually works, the inevitable ability for us to create our own subatomic level accurate simulations of our world, and the very nature of our senses simply being electric signals to our brains, allowing for the interpretation of those signals more efficiently rather than truthfully, it is possible that we may very well be living in a digital Darwinian universe, our very own version of the Matrix. Before your heads explode with all this information, make sure you write your thoughts and theories in the comments down below. And if you like these science-oriented 101s, let us know. Be sure to like this video, comment, share, and subscribe. I'm Sam Basher, and I'll see you next time.
I'm using SourceFedNERD from the same palette. Oh my gosh. That car came out of nowhere. I drive down the street all the time, and that never happens. I'll just leave a note tomorrow.
Does that make sense?